What's going on, everybody? All right, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning, and the reason that I'm doing this rundown so early in the morning is that the big storm that hit last week, it knocked out my AC. It blew it up, actually. It burnt up the control board and the fan, and so the studio has just been ridiculously hot by the time I get home at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And I mean hot. It's insulated. It's double insulated, actually. It's soundproof, but it's built inside my garage. I have a 1,200 square foot garage, and it's built within the garage. And so once the garage gets really, really hot, the garage also is basically AC. But once the studio's acclimated AC, where it never changes, heat, cold. But once everything's gotten hot and all the walls, and it really got to the core of it, it's miserable. And so to sit in here, if you watched last Thursday's public rundown, I was dying. I mean, by the time I finished the rundown with you guys publicly, then I had to go do my members, and I had no gas left. I was so hot when I did the members. So I'm doing a little bit here. It's going to be quick and short, not as long as normal. I'm going to cover some things. Lake Fork level, 40259, 40257, 0 to 1 foot clarity, 85 to 87 degrees. You know, I don't want to tell you that fishing's great because it's not. And I don't want to tell you fishing is bad because it's not. But the word hit and miss is exactly what's happening. You are either hitting it or you're missing it. There is no in between. And it's, for example, one day, I can catch some good fish and decent fish, and then the next day, zero. And I can have 2 days that are okay, and then 2 days that are zero. Or one morning that's good in the spot that I caught them on, and the next day they're gone. They're not there. They're scattered. They're roaming. Seeing a lot of fish in the upper water column. For example, last week I was fishing with my clients. If you saw on Facebook, I made a post that said, "Guide curse." Number one, I believe guides should not be fishing with their clients. Number two, I work for an outfit called the Hookup Outfitters that if you got caught fishing as a guide, you were fired. It made good reasons. There's great reasons, okay? I'm going to give you some of those reasons. Number one, just the lesson or the story of what happened last week. So I had graphed fish off of a point. I had the boat set up where they were throwing off to those fish. For some reason, I decided to just go ahead and pick up a rod and throw up in open no man's land. I didn't feel like it was fish there. It wasn't a sweet spot. I just decided to chuck a rod. I wasn't bored. I wasn't chomping at the bit. Couldn't resist. I had to fish. I could fish. I can go 5 days in a row and not wet a dang line with my clients. The captain of the boat in the ocean is the one that gets credit for the fish the boat catches. I feel more accomplished when my clients catch the fish through me, and I don't have to wet a line. I feel really accomplished. That's a fishing guide. That's a true guide. Okay, I guided you, not me. But anyways, I went ahead and made one cast in 8 hours fishing. I made one cast. In an area I never expected to even get a bite, really. I was throwing up on the flat, just to experiment, just for shits and giggles. And the bait never got to the bottom, and I caught an 8-pounder. Was pretty disappointed. Didn't expect that. Thought maybe I might catch a small fish, but again, here's the deal. I can give you about 4 or 5 reasons why guides really shouldn't fish. As a business, if you're a businessman, if you're a guide watching this, you should take heed to this, because this is what I learned from the Hookup Outfitters. Number one, you're not there to fish. You're there to take them fishing. Number two, you can't see the big fish that are there, so you can't avoid them. If you were deer hunting, you were their deer guide, and you were hiking through the woods or in a tree stand with them, and the big deer came in, and you raised your bow or your rifle on the biggest one in the group, the clients would look at you like, "What the hell are you doing? That should be for me. Why are you taking the shot at my deer? Are you guiding me or are you guiding you?" That's number two. Number three, the story I just told you. For some reason, yes, we know where to throw. The other day I didn't know where to throw, just threw. But the guide's going to probably get that bite. So now you're taking away from your clients. You are not letting, you're taking something that they could have caught potentially. Okay? Number four, undivided attention. You're not there now coaching them, helping them, watching them. You're busy fishing yourself. You could be telling them to slow down or take it easy. Or maybe they miss the bite. And you see it. I watch my clients line a lot of times, and if they don't set the hook, I tell them, "Hey, you're going to wait all day on that? You're going to catch that fish." And they look at me crazy, and then they feel the fish. Or sometimes I'll say, hey, set the hook. And they set the hook because they listened to me. They didn't even know the fish was there, okay? So that's number 4. You're the coach. You're not, if you're fishing, you're not there coaching. Number 5, I'm going to give you a little more elaboration. When I went to the work for the hookup, at first I had clients, saying, fish with me, fish with me, fish with me. And I had this guy beg me to fish with him. I said, I can't. I'm not supposed to fish with him. He said, son, I'm not fishing if you don't fish. So I began to fish with him. I didn't know what else to do. I'd only been working for the hookup for about 6 weeks. I began to fish with him. Sure enough, I catch a giant fish. He's excited. He says, I can't wait to tell everybody. I said, sir, you tell everybody I'm going to get fired. He said, no, they won't fire you. I loved it. I had a great time. I got to fish with a comrade, and you caught a big fish. When we went into the hookup, he told everybody, and the owners were livid mad. They pulled me aside, and they said, you're new here. We warned you. And I explained to them the story, that he begged me to fish. He told me he's not going to fish if I don't. They told me that's not your decision. You should have told him, call management. It's not up to you to make the decision. At that point, we had a great discussion, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the owners of this company. The 2 number 1 reasons that they told me you shouldn't fish, amongst the 4 that I've already given you, are this. Number 1, if you are fishing and don't catch fish, your clients go home saying, even the guide couldn't catch them. And as a business, you look bad. So if you're gonna fish, you doggone better catch them, or you look bad. Go fishing all day with your clients and not catch them, you look bad. All right. Number 2, I explained to them, what about when I have to teach? What about when they've never thrown a bait caster, they've never walked the dog, and I've got to teach them how? And they said this was so cool. They said, listen, if you know you got a bite up here in this bay or on this point or over this area, you know that when you throw that top water in there, they're probably going to blow up on it. Take them somewhere else around the corner, 100 yards away, into the open water, and teach those people how to walk the dog. Yes, text us. Tell us you're casting, you're teaching. You're off the fish, you're casting, you're teaching. When they're ready, they've learned how to walk the dog. You scratch your head and you say, hey, I've got a hunch about that point over there. Let's go over there. And you go over there, and lo and behold, they catch fish, and you're a hero. And you yourself didn't catch the fish. You didn't take away from them. So that's what today's public rundown is about. I want this to go viral. I want all the people out there to realize that there is a bunch of guys on Lake Fork that are there for the wrong reason. Yes, I'm throwing them under the bus. They throw me under the bus because I share public videos and fishing lessons and everything else. I'm going to throw them under the bus. They don't hand you life vests. I watch it every day. You run around without life vests. God, please don't let a client ever drown in this lake because of it, because we all look bad when that happens. Number 2, they fish. I'm not going to say names, but I watched a guy last year catch 17 fish throwing forward. His clients had their backs to him in the back of the boat throwing the other way. He never invited them up front. Ask yourself, if you're one of the guys or you're one of the local people around here watching this video, I'm not trying to start fire. I'm not trying to start drama. I'm calling a spade a spade. I'm tired. I'm tired of being picked on, tired of being ridiculed, tired of being teased, because I'm a good guy. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I put my clients first. That's a fact. Okay? So if you're one of those guys that are watching me, watching this video, wake up, man. Be here for business. We're not in competition. If we're in competition, go fish the BASS. If we're in competition, go fish in the MLF or go fish Bass Champs. I'm not here to fish those. I'm here to do business. I'm here to take my clients fishing, have a good time, and in the same turn, respect your clients and you as ambassadors if you will act as that. If you will act as an ambassador, you'll have my respect. If you're going to act like children that run to the playgrounds at recess and grab a swing and guard the swing next to you for your buddy, but you're not welcome because you're not my buddy, then you can kiss my you-know-what. All right? Now let's tell you about some fishing. Big worms are absolutely the deal. Some of the biggest worms out there right now, the V&M J-Mag, the V&M Wild Thing, the purples, the blue flecks, those on wobble heads, those on Texas rigs, those on big shaky heads. But you want to use those later in the day. Your best bet is to start out early in the morning. Your best bet is to start throwing, or believe it or not, it's the craziest thing, but the fish are in 5 feet of water early, the first hour or two. So top waters, chatterbaits, spinnerbaits on the right places, main lake points, reefs, shallow flats, stuff like that. Those are going to also be a good start each day, especially if there's wind. So spend your first couple hours kind of fishing more shallow than you would expect, and then progressively take yourself offshore, and you'll find that you'll do a little better. I think July here, with the heat finally here, the heat index is finally here. We're getting back to the temperatures we should be at. We're close. We're still cooler than we should be for the 1st of July in the water temperatures. But we're going to have more offshore fish. They're going to finally get out of the cover. They're going to finally get out of the shallow water and group up. Instead of having miscellaneous groups and groups that don't stay in one area, you're going to get them. It's going to get hot enough. We should be 87 to 90, not 88, 89 to 92 for July. We're going to get there. We can get there quickly. So, as far as some other stuff, let's go ahead and tell you some other stuff here. Let's tell you some other fishing reports. How about some other lakes? Give me 1 second here, and I'll go through a little list of some other fishing. Okay, so we're going to talk about some bass fishing on Ray Hubbard with Joe Shipley, good friend of mine. The bass are biting good there. He's finding them in deep rock piles, brush piles, marina wave breaks, rock bridges, and jetties. Big worms, big jigs, stuff like that. Texas rig, shaky heads, those things are working. Best colors are red bug, green pumpkin, peanut butter, and jelly. Your Possum Kingdom with Pete Hernandez. Nothing's really changed since the report I gave you last week. The lake is clear and full in the south end, a little dirty in the north end. Great topwater action in creeks like Bluff, Caddo, and Cedar. And then again, once that sun gets up, look offshore in those isolated rock piles and ledges with your jigs and big worms. 10-inch bass assassins are working really good there. Bass on Tawakoni. Tawakoni bass are actually pretty good. There's a topwater bite going on. Popping frogs and Berkeley El Chapo. The El Chapo is a really good one over there right now. Fish around the shallow junk, your lily pads and grasses. On the midday, hit the docks and rocks with crankbaits and soft plastics. Lake Athens, I just fished there again. It's 6 to 10 foot early morning with soft plastics and creature baits. And then later in the day, get into those deeper points with the brush piles. Again, drop shot rigs, jigs, natural colors are your best. Lake Levon with Kerry Thorne. I really like this guy. He's such a nice guy. He guided me up in Broken Bow. He says everything's pretty much the same again as last week. Underwater points, rock piles, brush piles, riprap. Those are your best summer locations. Start the morning out there just like you would on Fort. Throwing something shallow, throwing the white chartreuse spinnerbait, then switch to a square bill, maybe even a top water. But once that sun gets up, Texas rig plastics and worms and the riprap and rocks is best. Best colors there are watermelon red and Okeechobee craw. I've told you about Lake Fork. We're going to move to some crappie, give you a little crappie fishing. Crappie on Hubbard is good. Joe Shipley, Texas Frenzy, says that the crappie are biting on the deep, rich pillars, minnows, and hand-tied jigs. Crappie on Levon, 5 to 10 foot on timber and shallow, and then 12 to 20 foot later in the brush piles and deep off-water schools, or deep off-water summer schooling locations. 12 to 14 feet there, hand-tied jigs, and minnows, okay? Lake Fork with Jackie Wiggins, 18 to 28 feet. The fish really, really moving into those deep summer spots. The hot summer months are here. He's seen good numbers of fish, but they're not eating the jigs and stuff as well. He's having to really use the minnows. Minnows seem to be the deal. Stripers, if you like stripers, and white bass. The white bass are really good on Lake Levon. Paddle tail swim baits, stuff those things. Berkeley bullet pop, top water, or the Berkeley Jaywalker is catching some of those fish early in the morning. If you're not finding that surface action or shallow action, then move out to about 30 feet of water, and the fish are suspended in 15 to 20 feet. Use slab spoons, yo-yo them up and down. And then another one of my favorite guys, Matt Cartwright over on Tawakoni. Matt's probably one of the best striper white bass guides, hybrid guides that I've ever seen. It's like every day he finds those fish somehow, some way, and catches them. And Matt says right now that the main lake is 80 degrees in the 80s. The hybrids are on fire. It's live bait. You need to catch the shad. Live bait in 18 to 25 feet off the ledges. The sand bass are schooling early and late on sandbars and points. Small slab spoons and tailspins will catch those. But man, those hybrids, he sends me pics. And you just wouldn't believe the table of 8 to 10 pound hybrids. And then of course every now and then they're throwing 12 and 14 pound stripers in the mix. It's unbelievable what he catches over there on Tawakoni. Catfish, if you want catfish, everything's good. It doesn't matter what lake you go to. Blue caps are really running in the shallow water. The best thing I recommend if you're going to go catfishing is just bring some sour maize or cattle cubes from the feed store, from the horse feed store. The cattle cubes or sour maize, dump them in a spot 12 to 20 feet of water. Come back a few hours later or the next day, and you're going to clean up on the channel catfish in just about any one of the lakes around here. But other than that, I really appreciate you guys watching. Hey, I'm going to share one more cool thing with you. Give up a little bit of love if you're still watching at this point. You know, everything in our society has gotten expensive now. Doubled, almost everything has doubled in price or gone up 30% or more. Fishing line wise, if I was competitive, I'd be using Sunline. There's no doubt that to me that's the best line. I'd be using Sunline Sniper or Sunline Shooter at the competitive level. But as a guide, I really go through it. It gets ruined. I can put brand new line on, and the next client ruins it in 1 hour or less. And so some of the cost effectiveness is important to me to try and find a good product, that's valued for my money. The same for some of you. You're hardworking. You're weekend fishermen, and fluorocarbon line is getting ridiculous. I used to buy 1,000 yards of red label, Seagar red label, for around $50. It's now $80-something, even at my price. You might have a better deal out there, but that's not my point of sharing. I found another line now. It's kind of hard to get for the moment, but it's called K9. And I hope they continue doing what they're doing because I have now used this for almost 3 weeks. It's called K9. My glasses on. It's just K9 fishing, like the dog. K9 fishing. They've got multiple types of line, monofilaments and everything else. But this fluorocarbon is $20 for 550 yards. That means that for $40, I get 1,100 yards, which is half the price of the red label. It has great abrasion resistance. It casts beautifully smooth. In a few days or so of use, it does start to wear, not abrasive-wise, but it does start to kind of not break down either, not get memory, but you can tell that it's getting aged, it's getting used. But at that rate, I can change it more often. And so far, man, I'm telling you, it's strong. My clients get stuck a lot. They get hung up a lot. And I usually have to wear gloves for sun and things, and I'm glad when I'm wearing gloves to break this line, because otherwise it'd be cutting into my hand. Super strong K9. This is 20-pound fluorocarbon. But check that out if you are really looking to save yourself some money. Other than that, I'm glad that I got up super early. I had today off. It's actually Wednesday, not Tuesday, for this rundown. I'm glad I had the morning off because that's the only way I could shoot this video for you. If you found that you like this video, hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up like button. Comment below if you have any questions or anything you want to say. I don't care what it is. Even if you want to talk about the subject that I brought up about not wearing life vests or whether guides should be fishing or not. You know, I'll close you on this. I started my own business here. I don't work for the hookup anymore. And there are some times that I have a single guy and they ask me to fish with them, and I fish with them. I think there is a sort of appropriate time and place to spend a little bit of time. They want to see you fish. They want to learn something from you. But just do your best to try not to outfish them. And explain to them before you start fishing that very likely, you might catch the big fish. Don't get upset if I do. But anyways, neither here nor there. I don't want to go there. I just wanted to kind of close that out. If you have some thoughts on that, some feedback, should a guide be fishing? Should a deer hunter be hunting? Should your deer hunting guide be hunting with you? Put the comment below. I'm just curious what people say. And of course, I don't know if you can hit the super thanks on this public rundown, but in the members and in the Let's Talk, they can super thanks, which is like a tip. If you really like this, tip me out. That'd be great. Throw me a little super thanks. I've never asked the public that, but I do give you some good information that maybe somebody out there feels like throwing me a $5 tip or something like that. It can make a difference when 4,000 people watch these videos. So I appreciate you very much. Thank you guys, and I'll see you. Gonna try and do another rundown this week. If I can get up early and do it. It may not happen until like Saturday, unless the AC gets fixed. AC gets fixed, we're back on course. Thanks for watching. Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide.